ideas from movies and video games and makes real working prototypes. We've made Batman's grappling hook gun, Captain America's shields, Thor's hammers, Han's blaster, a James Bond spy car, and even Zarya's particle cannon. But one of our most popular projects this year was our attempt at building a real-life lightsaber. It worked, but could have used some improvements.
Now we realize that this blade design isn't quite as durable as we had hoped, so we've already come up with a much better design that's going to be hotter, stronger, and easier to cut through things. But something like that's going to take quite a bit of time and money to produce. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and enjoy our other content while we develop the world's first real lightsaber.
One eternity later.
That's right, we've been working on this new design for almost a year and have invested thousands of dollars into it. It's actually fully reproducible, but I don't think we're willing to sell it just yet. So I'm pretty excited to show you guys. Oh, and channel members do get access to our CAD files if you dare to try making it yourself. Now, just to recap, this is actually our third attempt at building a real-life proto-saber. If you remember, the first time the power supply exploded and the fire department got called on us.
Now the second lightsaber design did work, but it had some issues. The heating wire wasn't very robust and sometimes would actually fail quite violently. Plus, when it was on for too long, the whole blade would actually get quite floppy. So the question is, how are we going to solve this? Well, heating wire is never going to be robust enough, and I don't want a red-hot spiral. I want a red-hot lightsaber blade. So I think we need to make some kind of solid blade in order for this to work. Now, some of you guys suggested using titanium, which is an interesting idea. Now, I happen to have some titanium right here, so let's try running a whole bunch of electricity through it and see what happens. We have a lithium-ion battery pack over here, capable of putting out over 2,000 amps at 12 volts. Alright, so we've connected the battery pack negative terminal to the table, which means if we connect anything between the positive terminal and the table, it's going to spark like crazy and get red hot. You guys ready to see some sparks? Well, let's see if it goes on forever. Maybe we just create perpetual motion.
I believe in miracles. Where you from?
And it's done. That was cool. Alright, as you can see, the titanium is getting red hot. Actually glows quite nicely on the camera screen, but the problem is, once the titanium is this red hot, it's actually pretty soft. So as you can see, that is not quite going to work for a lightsaber blade, because if we were to hit something, it would just flop around. So, titanium might be a great element for heating the lightsaber, but it's not going to be strong enough for it to do anything fun, as you can see. So why don't we try a different material? I've got a piece of tungsten here. Now, tungsten's an interesting material because it has one of the highest melting points of any metal on Earth that's safe to use, around 3,600 Celsius, but it's also going to draw a lot more current. And the reason tungsten will draw much more power is because it's actually much more conductive, about 10 times as conductive as titanium. So let's see what happens if I short it out. Woo! Whoa!
We're maxing out our current meter.
So it's drawing a ton of power right now. It's getting super red hot, but look, it's also smoking like crazy. That's because tungsten actually oxidizes rapidly with heat like this, which also makes it not great for the lightsaber. And whoop. So, can't use tungsten, can't use titanium. What if we use a hybrid of both materials? What if we use a tungsten core with a titanium pipe over top? I have a piece of titanium pipe here and a tungsten rod. And if I put it inside, now we have a titanium blade with a tungsten core. Now the tungsten should be able to keep the lightsaber nice and rigid while the titanium is red hot. Here's some footage from one of our first tests a few months ago. Elena, what is this? Bogdan, what is this? Hey, I'm not the project manager on this.
Me neither, I'm not.
Alright, so as you can see, the tungsten titanium blade looks like it's going to work. So let's go back to SOLIDWORKS and start designing this new blade architecture. Alright, so this is our original SOLIDWORKS design for our lightsaber Mark II. Let's just delete some of the things that we don't need, like this, and that. And now we can start designing the new blade.
If you want to download the 3D models, become a Hacksmith member today by clicking the Anyone Else.
Alright, so there you go. We've got the design finished in SOLIDWORKS, and I gotta say, it looks pretty awesome. We kind of went all out there with the handle design, and I think it looks pretty sweet. Now, a few of you might be wondering, how is this actually going to work? How can we have electricity flow up and down a single blade? Well, how we're actually doing that is, let me just hide this. This is the piece of tungsten, and the tungsten is actually going to be covered in a ceramic insulation, which means the current will actually flow up the tungsten to the tip and then back down the titanium. That means the titanium will get red hot while the tungsten does not. And then that means we've got a lightsaber that's both rigid and super hot. This is actually going to be a lot hotter than the last version we made because titanium has a higher melting point than nitinol. Now, the only issue is we kind of got a bit carried away with the design. See this beautiful handle? We don't actually have the tools or resources to make that in-house. But luckily, our industry partner Tormach offered to make it for us themselves on one of their larger machines with a 4th axis. Alright, big thank you to Tormach for helping us machine the hilt of the lightsaber. Luckily, all the other pieces we need to manufacture we can make right here in-house using our CNC lathe and our CNC mill. Let's get started.
You can wrap the wire in high temperature fiberglass so that it doesn't burn if you hit it with the lightsaber.
So this is Lightsaber Mark III, and we're finally ready to test. We've got our battery pack here. We've got some voltmeters measuring both the voltage and the current draw, and we're just about ready to turn it on. But I want to show you guys this handle up close. So Tormach actually machined this for us, and they did a fantastic job. It's a one-of-a-kind Hacksmith lightsaber hilt. So Ian's going to stand here to pull the wires in case of another fire, Elena. So hopefully, it doesn't happen this time. I'm scared. It's gonna draw like over 1,000 amps. 24 volts,
4.46.
1,000 amps, that's 24 kilowatts. That's half the supply of electricity that goes into most North American homes. Alright. You confident, Ian? Alright.
600, 500, 400, 350.
Okay. Oh.
It's hot. It's hot there. It's smoking. Oh yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Love it. 280. You can feel the heat.
Yeah, this is warm. It's gonna get brighter. Oh.
That's perfect though.
Yeah, even the tip is red hot.
And the tungsten's hot. That's what's smoking.
Dang. So I've turned it off. It's just cooling down now. When you're not close and you don't feel the heat, it just looks like orange metal. But then you bring it close to your face and you're like, oh.
And it just looks normal, but now it's still really, really hot.
And it's pretty solid. It's not like flopping around or anything. Bring me a head. I have no idea.
I think it's just fine.
Look at that hole. Whoops. Wow. What a clean cut. Whoa.
Oh, this is amazing. Alright, so we filmed this cringy reenactment from Star Wars Episode 4 that no one should ever watch for any reason. But if you want to watch it, then head on over to the vlog channel or click this video here.
Alright, so that wraps up this part of the lightsaber build. We still have to build a protosaber battery backpack before we can completely finish this. But we have some awesome tests lined up that are coming out very soon, so make